What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Effin' Nerds podcast, episode number 8. It's been a while since we've been. My name is Nick Denizio, and across from me is my man Martin Moreno.
What's up, dude?
How we doing?
Good, chilling, hanging in there. Same old.
Same old. Yeah, it's been quite a while since we've done like an official show where we talk about news and things like that, because there hasn't been much going on.
Right.
But now that quarantine's letting up a little bit, restrictions are starting to get lifted a bit.
I feel like studios haven't really had much things to say, so now they're just throwing shit out.
They're throwing all kinds of stuff out there.
All right, let's get out there. Everyone, remain calm.
And today's show is packed with the things we're going to talk about. But before we really get into that, just want to throw out a quick RIP to, we lost a couple people in the past week.
Mm-hmm.
The great Jerry Stiller, the super funny Fred Willard, and an awesome director in Lynn Shelton. Jerry Stiller, who's been in a wealth of things. Obviously, Ben Stiller's father. Know him from Seinfeld and King of Queens and Zoolander and just a million other things. Super funny guy. Same goes for Fred Willard, who was in Best in Show and Anchorman, and same thing. His IMDb list is just stacked with the stuff
just
that he's been
little
in.
Things scattered here and there
right.
that always stuck out and always cracked you up.
Yeah, and then obviously, of course, Lynn Shelton too, who was a really awesome director. She did episodes of Glow, Mark Maron's show, who I think she was engaged to Mark Maron, before she passed, which is really...
They were like partners, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Little Fires Everywhere, which I believe she did all the episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, which I haven't seen, but I've heard good things.
And she's also done work with Mark Duplass for Hump Day, I think was a movie that they did together.
Mm-hmm.
And really, really bummer to see that happen. And
all these people were essentially just beloved and had a great range of work, and R.I.P.
All right, so let's jump in. We're gonna kind of do a rapid fire segment.
Boom, boom, boom.
Where I'm gonna throw some stuff at you, some stuff that's been announced, some news, and Martin, you have a minute to talk about it. And when I say a minute, I mean you can't go over that minute.
Okay, you're gonna cut me off.
I know you love to talk, bro.
I do love to talk.
So,
all right, this is good though. Shut the fuck up, Martin. All right.
So first up, a bunch of new Dune images have been released over the past month. And fans are starting to freak out a little bit. They're saying the film doesn't look fun due to the muted color palette and a more realistic focused style. The costumes and settings also have kind of some controversial things going on, with fans saying that the costumes are very simple and militaristic. Ugh, Jesus. And the desert backdrops are reminiscent of the worlds of Star Wars rather than a more fantastical sci-fi world. Before I kick it to you, all I'm going to say is, let's see a fucking trailer before you start freaking out.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys say about it?
I would just say, people need to chill out, okay? They need to relax. Well, oh my God. Okay. Whew. I had all these thoughts, and they just, This
is why you don't do notes.
This is why I don't do notes. My brain just crashed. People just need to chill out. Look, saying, that's not what people... The comment about the haircuts...
ridiculous.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you knew what the haircuts looked like in, the far dystopian future, okay? Relax. Look, trust in Denny. I am worried about this movie. I've been saying that for a long time, only from a box office return standpoint, because Blade Runner 2049 didn't do so well. So I want Denny to come in with another epic futuristic sci-fi film and not get out of the park, make lots of money, get a lot of both critical and fan praise, and let's just relax. The cast is stacked. It's an amazing cast. This is his vision. Maybe it's the vision he wants. I understand that David Lynch's, not David Lynch's, Herbert, his book was very fantastical and had this other bunch of shit going on. But let's chill, let's relax, let's watch the trailer, let's enjoy it, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Nice, you came in under a minute there.
Boom.
Pretty good.
Oh yeah.
All right, the next one, which I wasn't excited about until you talked to me about it earlier today. Jason Momoa and Peter Dinklage have teamed up to star and produce in Good, Bad, and Undead, which is a film based on an original idea by Mark Swift and Damian Shannon, directed by Max Barbakow. I hope I said that right. The movie focuses on vampire hunter Van Helsing, who's going to be played by Peter Dinklage, and his uneasy partnership with a vampire played by Jason Momoa, who has taken a vow never to kill again. Together, they run a scam from town to town where Van Helsing pretends to vanquish the vampires for money, but when a massive bounty is put on the vampire's head, everything in this dangerous world full of monsters and magic is now after them. The intent is midnight run in Bram Stoker's world. which I'll just say the fact that they just said Midnight Run in Bram Stoker's world, I'm totally on board for. I think this pairing is going to be awesome. I could already see it. I can already picture their chemistry.
Like, where do we sign up?
Right, where do we sign up? Like, I had no... Like, it's one of those movies where it gets announced and it's like, I didn't know I needed it till I heard about it.
Right. It's like, it just sounds like almost like a partner cop buddy film. Like, they're just going around, like, just scamming people. You can already tell... Look, my man crush for Jason Momoa is serious, okay? He's just so full of life, so full of energy. You can tell that they're going to have, like, a blast just, like, scamming these people. It's labeled as an action film, but obviously from the synopsis or the plot, it kind of feels like there's going to be, like, some humor, a little bit of lighthearted to it.
Have you seen Midnight Run?
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, if it's just like Midnight Run, it's the same thing. It just blends. Right. The comedy just comes along with the situations they get into.
And then when shit gets serious, shit gets serious.
Right, exactly.
So, and obviously Momoa and Dinklage have this sort of, I'm not going to say gravitas, but they have this sort of veteranism, again, we make up words here, to them, that they're going to really bring to the role, bring to the screen. When they turn it on, they turn it on. And I'm super excited. And yeah, I can't. Vampire movies are great. You know, like, I think Twilight gives, like, a lot of... It puts, like, a bad take on vampire movies, but vampire movies they're so much fun. If you haven't seen Bliss on Shudder, it's a smaller film. Check it out. It's really, really good. But, like, I just think the whole, like, vampire mythology and genre is just so, like... There's just so much there. And I'm happy that, like, it's going somewhere with, like, this team attached, because it can be something really special, I feel like.
Agreed. Next up... which this one's also really cool. After working with Blumhouse for Halloween and Halloween Kills, and then obviously the third movie, Jamie Lee Curtis has inked a 3-year deal with Blumhouse that involves the development of movies and TV projects. She will be co-writing as well as making her directorial debut on an eco-horror film titled Mother Nature that revolves around the topic of climate change. I mean, this is, if you love Jamie Lee Curtis, this is awesome.
Who doesn't love Jamie
Lee Curtis? The fact that she now is teamed up with Blumhouse, which I think is an awesome pairing, and she kind of gets to do the things that she wants to do. And I'm also excited to see her direct, like, for her first time. And she's been in this business how long? And this is her first go at it. So.
And she's like royalty. She's Hollywood royalty. Like, she's like, the fact that she's making a horror film, but adding this sort of new take on it, like this whole term eco horror film,
right?
Like, is neat. It's almost like a new thing. But yeah, this is her, like, she's like the OG Scream Queen. Like, and her mother also, like, if you think...
It's probably the first
OG, exactly,
OG,
like,
yeah.
The shower psycho scene has already become, so it's like an iconic scene now. The music, everything about it, like, she just comes from, I guess, Scream Queen royalty. And... she's, like we said, she's been in this business for so long. She's a storyteller. She's written books, done a whole bunch of things. And I'm excited to see her now actually step in, write, and direct. And good for her. We love Jamie Lee Curtis. We are excited about the next Halloween films. I mean, at least personally, I really am. And I can't wait to see, because it's like TV and movie development. So I'm really excited to see what else is going to happen from this deal.
Mm. All right, next up, Scream 5 is officially in the works with David Arquette already signed on to return. And
so excited.
The Ready or Not writers are helming the project, which is pretty awesome. And the original writer for Scream, Kevin Williamson, is serving as an executive producer. Martin, I'm going to kick this right to you because I know you're such a huge Scream fan.
Huge Scream slut. I cannot wait for this movie. I believe from when I saw they're going to start filming in North Carolina this fall, but
okay.
It hasn't been, like, confirmed. That's just kind of like the rumors I saw. I'm excited for Scream 5, Scream 4. I remember when it first came out, I wasn't too crazy about it. It's definitely grown on me over the years. I love that whole series of movies. And look, David Arquette is already signed on to come back as Dewey. So Neve Campbell is, like, in talks to come back as Sidney, which just adds to, like, all right, who else are you going to bring back? I mean, there's not really that much people left from the OG cast. It's really just Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and her. Everyone.
Which you would assume that if David Arquette's coming back, Courtney Cox is probably.
Well, there was rumors that Matthew Lillard was going to come back because Stu, even though he gets a TV dropped in his face, spoiler alert, it wasn't really confirmed that he was killed. Like, I mean, like, TV can fall on your face and you can die.
Right.
So maybe he snuck out somewhere. Like, who knows?
He slid under the garbage can.
He just slid under the garbage can, like, snuck out. But yeah, I'm so excited for this movie. I was like Ghostface for like 5 years in a row. And I cannot wait to just hear more news about this project in development or in the works, so to speak.
Cool. Next up, Nicholas Hoult has been replaced as the main villain for Mission Impossible 7. Asai Morales, I hope I said that right, who is the main antagonist as Deathstroke in the second season of DC's Titans, as well as a wealth of other movies. He was the bad guy on Ozark, and he's been around for a long time. He's now going to step into the role, which is exciting. It was strange to me that Nicholas Hoult was pegged to be the villain. I remember when he got cast, he actually did a screen test to play Goose's son in Top Gun. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he didn't get it, but I guess Cruise and McQuarrie liked him so much that they're like, hey, come play a role in Mission Impossible 7. I thought he was going to be part of the team. I didn't realize he was going to be playing the villain, which is strange.
Well, this next one coming up is 7, right? Or is it 6?
Well, they're doing 7 and 8 back-to-back.
Back-to-back, right.
Yeah.
So apparently, Asai Morales, apparently he's going to be the villain for, like, the next 2. That was, like, the rumor.
Right.
Or that was, like, kind of, like, what was confirmed. So the fact that Nicholas Hoult lost that... Because from what I read, it was that he had prior commitments to other projects. Mm-hmm. So since everything got delayed, it obviously caused, like, scheduling issues. So, look, I don't have anything against Nicholas Hoult. To me, I don't see him as a villain, especially in the Mission Impossible franchise. When you've seen like all the sort of actors have come in and stepped and played villains. Like, no offense to Nicholas Hoult, I just don't see him as like a villain. I don't see him like, as a bad guy, especially in this world. What's his name? Sean, who played
Sean Harris.
Sean Harris. I mean, bad guy. The second he starts talking,
he's a villain.
You shit your pants.
Right.
You're like, oh my god, okay. Obviously, Philip Seymour Hoffman, the second one, like, there's just such a long of these actors that just bring this weight to the screen as a Mission Impossible villain. I just personally don't think he has that. No offense to him. I love him as Beast. All cool. Great. Do that. But Asai Morales, I think, can bring something to this role. I really liked him as Deathstroke. The Titans itself, that's a whole nother story. But him as Deathstroke, I really enjoyed. So, like, good for him. There's going to be a huge role for him. He like you said, Ozark, he's mostly done television, so now he's going to step into his like really big budget project for possible back-to-back films. Good for him. Awesome, dude. Do your thing. Morales, I believe that's a Spanish last name, obviously, so maybe he's Latino. I don't know, but Latino power. Good for you. Awesome. Do your thing. Great. Boom. Cut it off. Are we still doing the minute thing? I feel like I'm talking for longer than the minute.
No. I think we're still doing the minute. I'm keeping a close eye on it. You haven't gone. If you've gone past, it hasn't gone far.
Okay.
But yeah, you've been staying within.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a good job.
What about you? What do you feel about all these things, man? You haven't really said anything.
I've said some things. I don't. There's not much. I mean, for this, I'm obviously on board for it. I think he's a much better choice than Nick Hoult. Mm-hmm. As I said, I thought Nick Hoult was going to play part of the team, which made sense to me that he would be part of the MI squad.
Oh, you didn't think he was actually going to be the villain?
No, I didn't think he was going to play the villain. I thought he was going to be one of the guys in the squad.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that would actually make a lot more sense.
That made sense to me. So I was like, oh, cool.
I can definitely picture him like almost playing Simon Pegg's like a Padawan,
like protege.
His protege. Yeah. Like I can picture him with the glasses and all that bullshit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that I can definitely picture him as the villain. I can't, and maybe one day he'll come out and he'll play this villain role that'll knock our socks off.
He's also still young too. He's got so much career.
Yeah, but some of the projects
him.
that he's chosen haven't done well. Like Tolkien bombed, Jack and the whatever fucking Slayer bombed.
That was forever ago though.
Yeah, but people don't forget.
People don't forget.
Fuck, Evan, we're down 2 points.
Fucking calm down, Greg. It's soccer. It's soccer.
Fuck you, man.
Hey, Greg, why don't you go piss your pants again?
That was like 8 years ago, asshole.
People don't forget.
Let's be real here. And like when we think about his last project, okay, Tolkien and Dark Phoenix. Like we think of these recent projects he's been in.
Dark Phoenix was bad.
They're just sour, just hot garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
He'll bounce back.
Hopefully.
Now we're going to do just a quick recap. Some trailers dropped this week. Starting off with The Old Guard with Charlize Theron, which is a cool concept. I guess she and like her team are warriors that have been like, they're like immortal. Oh, yeah. And they've just been going through time, like, I don't know, stopping villainy or whatever. It looks cool. Yeah. It looks cool. It's coming out on Netflix and it'll be fun to watch. Then you got Spike Lee's first movie since the Oscar-winning Black Klansman, Da 5 Bloods, which is kind of like a Vietnam War film.
Which looks incredible.
It looks really awesome. Mm-hmm. And the trailer was really cool too. And then you've got The King of Staten Island, which is directed by Judd Apatow, starring Pete Davidson. This one I was interested for, but when I saw the trailer, I was immediately on board for it. First of all, because the music they chose, they start off with Pursuit of Happiness, which is absolutely amazing.
You're a big Kid Cudi slut.
And then they finish off with One Headlight by Wallflowers, which is also awesome. But it just looks like it's a really fun movie.
We know music too, people, not just
Oh,
movies.
we know music too. It's got such an awesome cast. Bill Burr's in it. Marissa Tomei plays Pete Davidson's mom. And it just looks like a really like heartwarming, like fun movie that we kind of need right now. So I'm definitely excited for that.
Yeah, and it just seems like Pete Davidson's playing himself.
Yes.
It's something along the lines of
It's a loose
big time adolescence kind of.
Yeah.
That's the kind of feel that I got from it.
right, but this is somewhat based on his life. Obviously
with his dad
and everything like that.
Right,
so it's like a loose biography on him.
Right, so I feel like with big time adolescence, I feel like he kind of came into that role and was himself a lot, and I feel like he's going to do the same thing here.
Right.
So yeah, I am excited to see it. It does look. It started off a little bit because Big Time Adolescence is more like it's kind of like a coming of age, but
It's way more drama than I expected.
Yeah, it's more like a
when we watched it, I was shocked with the like how much of a downer ending it had.
Right,
like
right.
But it made it feel more real.
Right,
You know?
didn't want to say sad, but drama is a good way of putting it. It's more like
Yeah.
a little bit of like coming of age drama story. This seems more. It seems like along those lines. Like there's gonna be moments that hit, but it seems like a more uplifting. Unlike Big Time Adolescence, which the way it ends, you're just like,
oh
yeah. But you're also like, I know that person.
Yeah, I know exactly who that guy
You know
is.
who you've seen those people around.
man.
You grew up with those type of people.
Yeah.
Old Guard seems like your standard Netflix.
I mean, I kind of hope it's not like I got kind of like Aeon Flux vibes a little
I got
bit.
Aeon Flux,
Yeah.
and I got your standard kind of Netflix of just spectacle over story.
Yes.
That's really what I got. So I feel like it's going to be a dumb watch. You're going to come in, you're going to see Charlize kick ass, which I'm all fucking for.
Right.
because-
Hopefully it's fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's fun.
Yeah, and like, look, if Charlize's going to be kicking ass, I'm going to sign up. I feel like you said, it's going to be like a fun spectacle over story kind of film. It's not going to be like Marriage Story or Roma or Irishman, like these sort of Netflix movies. But The Five Bloods, I feel, is going to fall into that kind of Roma, Irishman,
Oh yeah.
Marriage Story
That has the potential
category.
to be a big Oscar contender
Right,
for Netflix.
and the trailer was very it was like very compelling. The way it was kind of like bouncing back and forth. I feel like it was like time jumping.
They also didn't tell a lot of the story either, which was interesting. So I kind of had to look it up. So apparently, it focuses on five guys, and I don't know if it's all of them. I think one of them, it's a couple generations. I think of like family that are basically traveling back to Vietnam to find a gold that they buried. They buried like gold somewhere. I think they're going to find it. And Chadwick Boseman plays their old, I think lieutenant, either lieutenant or basically the leader of their old crew back in the day.
That's awesome.
So I'm curious. It's like the way the trailer's cut. It's good, but it doesn't tell you much, which is good.
And I was
that.
like, it's very stylized for sure, which I really enjoyed. The Apocalypse Now kind of backdrop on the DJ was like really. Look, Spike. I always do this. I call people on their first name basis, like Spike Lee. Spike Lee always kind of he always pays homage to films that he appreciates, films that resonate with him. So like that's obviously what you get, at least for me personally. The second that trailer kicked off, I was like, yeah, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Hunt for Red October. I got some of those vibes too. But yeah, the way it was structured, how it was kind of like bouncing back and forth, very stylized. Like I'm like, dude, I'm all in for this movie. I don't really know what's going on, but I can't wait. And obviously, like you said, he's coming off an Oscar. He's kind of riding this high. Oscar or not, Spike Lee makes great films. I would say like his resume is definitely batting over like probably 80%.
I would think down the stretch, the last couple movies he's been better, but he's had some missteps here and there. Like he tried to do the remake of Old Boy, which didn't turn out so hot.
I didn't like the Old Boy. Yeah.
You know, my favorite one from him is still. I mean, like I love. It's probably Black Klansman now, but before that, I loved Inside Man.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. I
And
love heist movies too.
Yeah, but it's just like his movies have like it's his voice.
Yes.
Like, you can always see like.
It's always a Spike Lee movie. For
it's
sure.
always like his imprint on the movies, and I feel also with Black Klansman and with this, I feel he's gotten a little more political, so that also kind of came off across a little bit in his trailer. But I'm excited, and I can't wait to. I'm really like I saw a trailer for this. We can talk about it, and I was like, dude, that looks awesome. Easy there, bro.
I know.
Don't spill the ooze.
I'm not gonna spill the ooze.
Also, shout out to Departed Souls Brewing Company for giving us this awesome green beer.
Well, they didn't give it to us. We had to buy it.
We'll pretend like they gave it to us.
We'll pretend like they gave it to us.
We'll pretend like we're sponsored.
But it's awesome.
Not.
It's called Secret of the Brew, located in Jersey City. Awesome.
It's a sour beer. We bought a shit ton.
We bought a lot.
Yeah, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, next.
So since we're on the topic of trailers, we're going to talk about the big one that just dropped.
The big one.
The big one. Tenet.
Insert said reference from Toy Story.
Yeah.
It came! It finally came! The big one.
A fan defense got the reference.
Christopher Nolan dropped yet another amazing, epic, and just as easily confusing trailer for his next movie, Tenet. Doesn't have a release date yet. It all it says at the very end is coming to theaters, which was really cool.
Which I loved.
Yes.
That was like my favorite part of the entire
That's
trailer.
just like a big statement that says, fuck digital, fuck streaming, we're
Fuck
going
VOD.
to, we're
He
going to
just
theaters.
literally whipped out his dick and just just put it on the table. He's like, I'm coming to theaters.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It looks awesome. I mean, we can try to decipher the plot, but I don't really feel like doing that right now. All I know is that it deals with the inversion of time, and time is able to move backwards, and somehow they're able to manipulate it, which looks really cool. Showed off some really awesome sequences. We got to see more of Robert Pattinson, which we didn't get a whole lot in the first trailer. We saw more of his character here, which looks like he's going to be kind of playing the right-hand man to John David Washington's character. We got to see Kenneth Branagh as the villain, which I know you didn't know he was the villain.
I did not know, no.
But yet
Did you know that?
I did know that, yeah. But you get to see some of him here, and I always mispronounce her name.
Eliza Bestebecki.
Yes.
Boom.
Awesome. I fucking love her. She was in Man from U.N.C.L.E. She was in Widows, which she crushed. She was probably the best thing in Widows.
She was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Volume 2 of Guardians of the
She played the
Galaxy.
Sovereign.
Yep.
And she was in the Cloverfield Paradox, which was not... I believe that was her.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
With Gugu and Mbatha Raw. I'm sorry if I just butchered your name. But I believe that was her. She was probably one of the other leads. But yeah, she's
I'm not
fun.
sure. But yeah, she's awesome, and I'm excited to see her kind of play around in Christopher Nolan's sandbox. But yeah, it's an awesome trailer. What'd you think of it?
Same thing.
It's the same thing.
I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I think the fact that we watched it on the big TV made it almost more confusing.
Yes.
'Cause okay, this is just me, but I feel like when you watch it on your phone, it's like a little bit more like...
It's more personal.
Yeah, it's a little more condensed, so you can kind of like follow shit along. We had it like on the big TV, so I was just like all over the place. I'm like, what is happening? I don't know. And some of the from like the director of like The Dark Knight and Inception.
That
and
was so
Dunkirk,
cool how they
which
did that.
It was awesome how they did it, but like it just threw me off every time because it was like new footage.
Right.
Well, not new footage, but like footage of which is interesting.
Of his, I don't think anyone's ever done that.
I don't think so either, which is really cool. It was almost like a backdrop of Dunkirk, of Dark Knight, of Inception, which is like really cool.
Which is basically like you're selling them on Nolan. Like
Right.
that's what it is.
But you're like watching this trailer and you're like, oh shit, that's cool. All right, back to trailer. Oh shit, that's cool. All right, back to trailer. Oh shit, like so your mind's just everywhere. Like I have no idea what's going on, but it's very reminiscent to the Inception trailer when we first got it and we saw like Joseph Gordon-Levitt running with like the hallway like spinning and all this shit, and you're like, you have no idea what's happening, but where do I sign up?
Right, exactly.
Pretty much what it comes down to.
The other cool thing too was John David Washington was talking a little bit about it. And one of the interesting things that he said is that what Christopher Nolan does in Tenet is going to dictate the next 10 to 15 years of filmmaking.
Really?
So that just goes to show that Chris Nolan is yet again just pushing that boundary.
Which is what he and
is
I
what
just
he
love
always
how
tries
he
to do.
just. But the thing about him is just that he just does so much different genres. He works in like a wide range of films and I feel like when you do that, you just keep your juices fresh.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, all right, I'm gonna step away from this and do something different. Step away from that, do something different, and that way you're always got your creative juices flowing. You always have like a new sort of perspective on a new story that you want to tell, and he
Right.
steps away from his projects for a while. Like,
Yeah.
he takes breaks in between, which is smart. And Nolan is just at this point, he's probably going to go down as like definitely one of the best directors of all time.
Yeah,
I definitely
absolutely.
say he'll go down in the top 5 for sure. And I can't I'm so excited for this movie. I have no idea what's happening
Right now.
No idea what's going on. That very first shot of the water going back was very Titanic-ish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even like the color scheme of like the Titanic, like the burgundy and the black.
Yep.
I'm like, what is like my brain was just like catching all these other little things that made no sense. And also something that I thought was interesting. We're way past the 1 minute mark. I don't care.
This is not a 1 minute topic. We give Chris Nolan more time than 1 minute.
Well, I mean, it's Nolan, so time. Is it even 1
Is it
minute?
even 1
Who
minute?
even knows? But something that I found interesting about this trailer was that it was a little bit more lighthearted and had more humor. Like
did.
there was like the Robert Pattinson when he's got like the teapot, like when he's doing like the liar moment.
Yeah.
When he's got like teapot, when
Which can we talk about that for a second? Because I loved how, because there was a moment in that trailer where you're like, what the hell is going on? And then it even cuts to Pattinson almost saying what the hell's going on, and John David Washington's like, you got to keep up.
Keep up.
You're not shooting the bullet, you're catching it.
Whoa. Well, I've seen too much. Well, we'll try and keep up.
I fucking love that. That was so good.
Yeah, so it's like that, and then at the end when he's like, more like all these kind of like light humor kind of moments that I believe we got like 2 or 3, which isn't very Nolan-esque. Like I know for the Inception trailer we had like you gotta dream a little bigger, darling. Like we had that, but this just like this trailer, the first trailer was very serious, and the score was very like ominous and like more brooding, like in traditional Nolan style. This was more kind of like almost like a orchestra full kind of score.
Yeah.
And I'm still processing the score. I still don't know how I feel about it just yet. I like it, but I don't know if it worked well with the trailer.
See, I actually, the more I watch the trailer, the more I like it.
Yeah,
and I'm also
like that too.
And I'm also wondering like if that is a snippet of Ludwig's score.
It has to be.
It has to be.
That's what he always does.
Right.
He always takes a score and he puts. That's what I'm saying. So like,
yes.
So we got that first one, and I'm like, this is definitely a score for the movie, and it's right. Like it's such a fucking Nolan score.
Yes.
Like when you hear it, you automatically think like, yeah, it's Nolan score.
It's Nolan score.
This one was different. Like I said, obviously makes sense because Ludwig's involved. It's a different composer, other than Zimmer, which we've gotten used to over the past like 3 or 4 films. This is a little more different, and you're kind of processing it because your brain, at least for us, because we're fucking nerds, your brain is kind of processing like, okay, this is definitely a different score. It's going along with the movie. Like you're trying to figure out exactly how it's working, and then the more I watched it, the more I kind of enjoyed it, the more it's kind of growing on me. But yeah, and one thing too that I want to say, I love how it says from the director of The Dark Knight, and then it cuts to Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
Like here's the new Batman. Was that intentional? Who knows?
It was definitely intentional.
In my mind,
it has to be.
I was like,
because he gets out of the car looking all Bruce Wayne like, you know what I mean? So it had to be. The other cool thing that was like, Christopher Nolan's wanted to make a James Bond movie for the longest time, and even though you can say Inception has flavors of it, this one even looks more like a Bond film with like a lot of like the espionage that's going on and all the different things.
And a villain with a heavy accent. And
the last thing I'll say about it is at the wait. All right, what do you got?
I got one thing. Why you want to cap it off the conversation? You're like, Martin, I want to get the last word in here.
All right, you get the last word in here.
No, you say you want to get. You can get the last word.
All right. So what do you want to say?
That when we were talking about the accent, when he's like, how do you want to die? And he goes, old, which I thought was very interesting because if we're talking about time manipulation here, you think about Curious Case of Benjamin Button,
right?
He dies as a baby. Maybe this is something where like, you know, I just think I think that sort of little exchange between the villain and John David Washington, is that his name? Yeah. Which, dude, the guy's a star.
Already.
Like, when BlacKkKlansman came out, we were both like, dude, this guy's gonna blow up. Right. And obviously, your next big job is a fucking Nolan movie. Like, you can't like, the sky's the limit for you, bro. At this point, go for it, and good for you.
And he looks great in that role too.
Yeah, good for you. But yeah, like that little exchange between him and John David Washington, like I feel has a lot more context or more weight, I would say, than people probably people just didn't even process that. But us, we're losers and we just watch the shit over and over again. So we kind of pick these things up. But yeah, that little exchange, like on like the 47th viewing of the trailer is when I picked that one up, and I'm like, I was like the Leo.
Here I come. Oh, here I come.
Oh. And then the last thing that I wanted to say about it was how much like it's almost become kind of a running joke about how there's always a character in a Nolan movie that's supposed to be Christopher Nolan. Do you know about this?
No, I don't.
Okay, so it's not in every movie, but in some of them, there's almost like the character it kind of looks like Nolan a little bit, and it's kind of almost like you kind of feel like that's just the director putting him in the movie. So like in Memento, it's kind of Guy Pearce. In Inception, it's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Guy Pearce doesn't look anything like. Oh, maybe at the time.
A little bit. Yeah. And then in this one,
Leonardo, 100%.
Yeah.
Even like the suit with the belt.
That's what I mean.
100%. Yeah.
This one, it's Pattinson, 100%. At the very end, when he's doing the whole thing with the plane, which cracks me up every time I watch it now.
Yeah.
He's got like the suit with like the scarf on and everything. I'm like, this is supposed to be Christopher Nolan. And it's amazing. Absolutely hysterical.
I love it. Yeah, I can't wait for this film. Super excited.
Hopefully it comes out in July. If not, it'll be August, because the report that I read was that if the theaters aren't ready to go by July 17th, it's going to move to August 14th, which is Wonder Woman 84 spot. and then Wonder Woman 84 is going to push all the way back to Christmas. It's going to take Dune's spot, and Dune's will get bumped to 2021. Which is a lot of shuffling, which it sucks, but I mean, it's at least we're getting
it's like
them.
pros and cons. Like it's like you were saying before, which you made a really good point, that if Wonder Woman does get pushed to December, it's going to dominate.
It's going to dominate. It's going to make so much money. So yeah, I mean, and whenever this comes out, you know, it's going to be that first really big movie to go see, along with I think Mulan. Mulan I think comes out the end of July.
Which I'm super excited for.
We'll see if that holds, but it's kind of those two that are kind of the big blockbusters that are going to end.
And I'm starting to get a little more optimistic because we're slowly starting to kind of come back to
it's like reality a little bit.
Yeah, like normal shit. So yeah, I'm excited, and I hope it comes out in July.
I do
too.
too.
It's on my birthday too. Like the sooner.
Oh man,
movies always come out on my birthday.
Yeah,
it's fucking amazing. Because he loves that like mid smack dab summer spot.
It's like a prime. That's a prime spot.
Yeah, bro. Because only prime belongs there. But yeah, can't wait for the movie. So excited.
So now we're going to jump over to The Mandalorian, which season 2 is getting ready to premiere in October, and there's been a ton of casting announcements. Originally, shit hit the fan a few months ago when Rosario Dawson was cast as fan favorite Ahsoka Tano in the second season of The Mandalorian. Obviously, she's a huge fan favorite from the Clone Wars and obviously Rebels as well. On top of that, we also had Michael Biehn cast in a role.
I forgot about that one.
Still hasn't been said yet. I'm assuming he's going to play maybe another bounty hunter type of character or something. But it was cool that he's coming into that as well. Similar excitement was met once Tamura Morrison. Did I say that right?
I believe it's Tamura, but I don't know.
Yeah. Tamura Morrison, who plays a large role in the prequels as Jango Fett, as well as a number of clones, including Commander Cody. Was cast as Boba Fett, which is really awesome. And then also apparently another untitled role, which everyone's assuming that it's Commander Rex.
It has to be Rex.
Also from Clone Wars and Rebels, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm so pumped.
Which is, it's so awesome. And then you've got more casting news with Katie Sackhoff, who obviously is a television sci-fi stud, as you put it, who played Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, and she was announced to return to the role of Bo-Katan Kryze. Is that how you say the last name?
I haven't watched Mandalorian. I haven't watched Clone Wars in a while, but it's we'll just say yes for now.
I'm gonna say Bo-Katan.
We'll get added in the comments later.
Right, it'll
be fine.
But she was a character. She voiced that character in the Clone Wars and in Rebels as well. And then one of the big ones, Timothy Olyphant, was later confirmed to play a role in season 2. And while his role still hasn't been confirmed, many sources are saying that he will be playing Cobb Vanth, who is a sheriff in a Tatooine planet called Freetown. And he's apparently has acquired and he's wearing Boba Fett's armor, which is really interesting. And also, you know, Timothy Olyphant, his background, you know, in shows like Deadwood and Justified, you know, the casting for this just feels right.
Right. It has like a very... You're telling me he's playing a sheriff? Feel like
right,
dude has played that kind of character role figure so many times in his career that I remember the movie The Crazies.
Yeah,
like I believe he played a sheriff.
I think he's a sheriff in that too. Yeah.
So and obviously in the most recent project that he did, which was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he played this
he played almost like a bounty sheriff.
So I'm just like, you tell me that he's going to play a sheriff in planet wearing this, I'm just like that. I'm 100% on board. I didn't read Aftermath, so I'm not too familiar with Cobb Vanth, but the vibe that I got from him was the Old Republic Captain Smuggler, what's his name, Nico Okar, I believe his name is, but he because he has like the hat, the jacket, the gun, he's always coming in here like blazing, so like that's who the vibe I got right away. Obviously that can't be the character because it's a whole completely different time period, but like that's just the sort of thing that clicks in your mind when you think of Timothy Olyphant. So yeah, I'm all like this. All this casting, like you say, this is the first time we've done an episode in a while, so we're kind of getting caught up with everything that's happened over the past couple months. It's been like almost every single week they've just dropped a fucking bomb on us. Like with Rosario Dawson, I screamed. I lost my shit. I'm like,
and you were on a work call.
I was on a conference call. I think you posted it in the group chat. So I'm just like there, like bored. The notification comes in, and I just went wide eyed. I was like, wait, what? I like muted the call. I fucking screamed. Went back to my call, pretending like everything was fine, because professional.
Right.
And but yeah, Katie Sackhoff. I it never like hit me how much she actually looks like Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a direct.
Well,
like,
and I never watched Clone Wars, but I saw a side by side of her. I know I'll get to it. I saw a side by side of her and her character. I'm like, oh, this makes perfect sense.
I gotta watch like. There's 2 episodes. I believe it's season 5. I believe it's called like Shadow of Reason, or where she goes in and rescues Obi-Wan, and like it's the whole battle for Darksaber when Maul challenges Vizsla. Like it's those 2 episodes back to back are some of the greatest Star Wars ever, and you just like you can almost tell that the reason she's being brought in is like she's going to make a run for that Darksaber. Like it's a fact. Like I'm sure everyone's
which is exciting.
Everyone's saying this. Everyone's thinking about it. Like we will see her wielding that Darksaber by the time the season 2 is over. Like if not at some point, it's definitely going to happen.
Right.
And it just this is what happens when you have Filoni on board. Filoni, obviously, like all these characters, Ahsoka Tano, Bo-Katan, like all these characters are like his babies essentially. He knows these characters, he knows his property, and he knows how he's going to work it in with Mandalorian. Like the Darksaber at the end of season 1 was just a fucking it opened the gate for all these characters to come back, and not just come back but properly be worked into the story. Like it's only a matter of time before I believe we're gonna see Sabine. It's only a matter of time before she gets announced either for this season or next season. I don't want to spoil the end of Rebels for you, but we don't really exactly know what's going on with some of the other characters. So
I've seen some clips. Not that I've seen the ending, but I've seen some clips about some of those characters that Ahsoka kind of pals around with, like the.
I'm just gonna go on a limb and say you probably don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because the final maybe like 10 minutes of the last episode of Rebels is deep, and it goes and it like shit happens,
right?
Which are still to this day kind of unanswered. So
now does Rebels end when the original trilogy begins?
I believe so. I don't quote me on that because there's a time jump.
Okay,
from when something happens to.
Because I'm curious as to how, obviously because Mandalorian is after Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see like how, like where these characters, where they stopped in Rebels, and where they're at in this show now.
Right. So if something happens at the end of Rebels, which could possibly, for all we know, it could have been solved within a day. And if it did get solved within a day, then all these characters are back and existing somewhere around the Mandalorian universe.
Right.
So, like, I think there's no doubt in my mind that we are going to get Sabine. Like, there's just no doubt in my mind. Mm-hmm. But all this cast news is, like, I cannot wait for season 2. Like, this... I'm like through the roof.
So the one worry that I saw was that there's too many characters popping up now. Yeah. And I don't think that's the case, even if I think it's going to be a very similar situation to what last season was, in the fact that Mando is kind of is kind of basically playing the role of the audience, and him traveling around with Baby Yoda. And probably they're going to be doing like the same thing where they're just hopping from place to place. And you're just going to encounter these different characters here and there. Like, I can't see...
Like the flavor of the week episodes.
Exactly. Right. And where a lot of these characters, they're just going to be in one episode. They're introduced, and maybe they'll come back in later seasons, but it's going to kind of be... Because the same thing kind of happened with the first season. You had these different characters that were introduced, and they're still there. They're still around. So it's like you can see them come back. Right. Like some of these guys...
played Asha.
Yeah. So they're still around, so that you can bring them back whenever you want to. And I think it's going to be the same situation here, where you're just going to have them come in, they'll play around for an episode, and then that's it.
I definitely think that's going to be the case with Michael Bihn's character. Yeah. I think Michael Bihn's character is probably going to be a one and done in an episode. Whether he survives or not, we'll see. But I don't think we're going to see him in anything more than one episode. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about Mandalorian season 1 was that it's evident that episode 1, 2, 3, and 7 and 8, those were like the main story, and then like 4, 5, and 6 were like your flavor of the week episode. Right. Even though episode 4 introduced Cara Dune, like Gina Carano's character, I still think that was almost like the only connection that it had in regards to probably the main story. So yeah, I 100% agree. I feel like they are going to they have their main story, which is going to go throughout the season, and then they're going to have little filler episodes here and there where you can have fun, where you can enjoy, which I know some people didn't like the flavor of the week episodes. I personally really did. I enjoyed all of them
because it kind of does more. It does more world building. It expands out the universe more.
Exactly. Like
you get to throw some Easter eggs in there.
I love my fucking trees. I love my trees in Star Wars.
Right.
When we go to that planet in episode 4 and we see all these trees, go back to what Ray said. I never knew there was this much green in the galaxy.
Right.
Like it's fun to see the sort of natural elements introduced into like a sci-fi world. It's fun. It adds a whole like humanistic touch to it. Makes it a little bit more relatable. So, I my only thing coming into the next season is that I just hope that these episodes are longer. That's the only thing, because some of them I think averaged around like short. They averaged around like 35 minutes, I believe.
Yeah,
I could be 100% wrong.
Which is way too short.
It is, and especially when you look at episodes 7 and 8. Despite the fact that they were really good episodes, you can just tell that there was so much more meat on those bones. Like it's fucking quick.
And those 7 and 8 were the longest episodes too. Like I believe 8 was close to an hour.
Yeah, but when you take away like what happened previously,
yeah, I know.
We take away the credits.
I'm just saying that like that was definitely the longest episode of the season.
Right. So I hope that that obviously we don't. It's all a business. We don't know what's going on with budget and all this other bullshit. But if they can possibly push the envelope where you can go a little bit longer, maybe add 10 minutes to every single episode. It's like me personally, I would love 1 hour episodes. Obviously, you don't always get what you want, and who gives a shit about what Mark wants? But like, if they can find a way to make some of these episodes a little bit longer and better tell these stories, then I'm all on board. But regardless, I cannot wait for season 2.
I really need a trailer. I was really expecting a trailer to drop on May the 4th.
I was very skeptical. I didn't think we would see it.
I was kind of hoping they were going to at least show like a tease, just like a minute teaser for it. But obviously we didn't get it. So hopefully we get something soon just to kind of get an idea of what this next season is going to bring, what it's going to look like, just so we can start the speculation all over again. And the other thing too is that I love how because season 1 kind of had a very obviously it was very inspired by westerns, but also almost had kind of like a samurai kind of vibe to it as well, especially the fact with Baby Yoda kind of palling around with Mando, because Mando's kind of like that.
Well, samurai vibes are like the core. That's like George Lucas'
exactly
thing, right?
Exactly. So the fact that it had all those flavors mixed together, and the worry was that, with all these characters coming in, are they going to kind of get away from that? But the fact that, like, the character that Timothy Olyphant is playing, they're very much staying within that Western type of vibe, which is really awesome. And that was the thing that I really loved about the first season was it had just that, because it had that influence, it felt different. It felt different from what we were getting in the episodes, and it just felt different from everything that we've seen before it, and it kind of had such a throwback vibe to the original trilogy, and that was what was really cool about it. But it still
felt like Star Wars.
Yes.
Well, yeah, like in regards to the whole like samurai notion that you're talking about, Kiro Osawa, I believe I don't know if I'm butchering it, I apologize, but pretty much just how that influence played on the original Star Wars, how much of that influence was George Lucas, like what George Lucas based off the characters off of, even like the conversations between Filoni and Star Wars. He always talks about how, like, when we watched The Gallery, how he was like how he presented something to him, and George was like, oh no, that's not really how a Jedi would kind of deal with stuff. They would pretty much put their lightsaber on the table and be like, this is how we're going to do business, pretty much. All these sort of notions that inspired George, that George was influenced by, is very reminiscent in The Mandalorian. And I think that's obviously because of Filoni, because Filoni is literally George Lucas's Padawan. Like everything, he's even said it. Like George Lucas even said there's clips when he was like, "This is my child."
Who are you again?
Yeah, it's starting early. There he is.
This is one of my kids.
They have such a strong relationship, and Filoni is just he's such a wealth of knowledge that we have people on board. We have people like handling Mandalorian who know the mythology, and that, in my opinion, is the reason why this show is so good. It's because people who are on board, you have a really good partnership between people who understand mythology and people who know how to make sort of big budget projects, so to speak. I'm fully convinced that if Jon Favreau was not on board, Mandalorian wouldn't be as good as it is. It would probably fall too much into the lines of episode 5 that a lot of people had problems with, which was pretty much Filoni having free range in terms of writing and directing. It felt like a live action episode of Rebels,
right?
Pretty much, which I personally loved, but I know it probably wouldn't have gone over well with like the general audience. So when you have the right people aboard who know the material. Like, yeah.
And they've assembled such a good team. Like, watching that making of in the gallery on Disney Plus, like you just see just all the people that are involved, and these are all people that absolutely love Star Wars. They love the IP, and they're just all trying to make it the best they possibly can. And then it's the same thing you said, like with Filoni. Filoni, he's kind of definitely the guy who has the same kind of values in Star Wars as George did. And
right.
You just see his understanding of it, like when he breaks down what that last fight in Phantom Menace means to the entire story of Star Wars. It was just like it was.
Which,
it was
if
amazing.
I was a cameraman on that, I would have gotten fired.
Right.
Because I would have completely zoned out to whatever I was doing. I would have just like melted into like his conversation. Right. Yeah.
And the way he just describes it, and like it just puts so
it's
much
so
more.
True.
It just puts so much more weight on that fight.
Yeah, and then like you have him like. Here's what we have to do, like him laying out the groundwork, and you have people like Deborah Chow and Taika Waititi and Rick Famuyiwa, Bryce Dallas Howard, who is amazing. The fact that George has known her since she was like 5. It's such a cool, like, everything is just so mind blowing. But like you have these people who are going to execute it properly. So you have like the right team on board, and there's a whole it was Robert Rodriguez and someone else that was announced for season 2. Peyton Reed, right? Yeah. Like we have these like veteran directors who are just. I can keep talking about this forever. Obviously, like we'll talk about it more as more stuff comes about. But like, I cannot wait for season 2. I'm so excited.
I agree.
I just kicked the camera.
You kicked the camera.
Put it back.
I think it's fine. I'll fix it. Yeah. I can't wait for it to come out. October, still don't have an official release date yet. Maybe once we get the first trailer, we'll get that official release date.
I got so excited. I kicked the camera.
I know. Yeah.
Bro, that was the Force. The Force moved the camera.
The Force moved the camera. So that was it. Nice action-packed episode. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're kind of back now. We were a bit on like, not really a hiatus. We were doing like smaller videos here and there.
We couldn't pay rent for the studio.
We couldn't pay rent for the studio.
Yeah, because of COVID-19.
So we got kicked out for a little bit.
We got kicked out for a while.
We're back now.
We're back now. We're caught up on rent.
Yeah, we caught up on rent, so now we're here. I guess the next things that we're going to do is we'll eventually come back for another episode, like a big episode like this when there's news to speak about. But we're going to try to do a bunch of reviews because there's a lot of stuff coming out on streaming, a lot of cool things, especially like June. June's packed. We got the Spike Lee movie, Defy Bloods. We got King of Staten Island. And then, we still have to watch Capone. We have to watch Lovebirds. So there's a lot of stuff coming out that we want to do reviews for.
There's one movie that I really want to watch that I can't, I don't know why we haven't watched it yet.
What's that?
Velocipaster. Bro, ninjas.
Dude, I saw that trailer. It looks horrendous.
Raptors, hookers. That's up my fucking alley.
All right, fine, we'll watch
where
it.
do I sign up for that? Someone literally made a movie for Martin. So, yeah, that's what I've been waiting to watch, but I don't know. Hopefully soon we'll get that going.
All right, yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah?
Maybe.
All right, I'll take a maybe.
All right, we'll take a maybe.
It's hope.
Hope.
Superman, hope.
As always, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. Instagram.
Right,
we have an Instagram now. Yeah. What would that would be like phase 3?
Yeah, I guess that's phase 3.
So yeah, Instagram, that's like phase 3. The Twits was like phase 1. The YouTube was like phase 2. So now we're into phase 3 with the Gram. I don't think there's going to be a phase 4 unless we do a TikTok or a Vero.
Oh, maybe a Vero? Maybe we get on Vero? Dude,
no.
We can get on Vero and just start posting Snyder Talk stuff and we'll probably blow up.
I don't know about that. We'll discuss that once we get to the end of phase 3. But yeah, we'll have some more fun stuff on there. Some clips from every episode we do. Like I would like to make it like a new content thing. So everything we do from here on out. Some videos we edit, some pictures we do, just a whole bunch of fun things. We got some fun stuff planned and hopefully it'll all work out.
Hope so too.
Yeah, and just follow us. That's effing nerds, no underscore.
No underscore.
The gram is no underscore. The Twitter
has an underscore.
It's like my Twitter thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like my personal Twitter and Instagram handle, but no one cares about that.
But as always, Nerds Nation, thank you for joining us.
Nerds Nation, yeah.
Nerds Nation.
Thanks for having a beer with me, Nick. It's a pussy and didn't finish his beer, but it's okay. It's okay. Oh, bro, don't chug it. You're gonna throw up.
I'm not gonna chug it. I'm gonna enjoy my beer.
Enjoy your beer. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time and enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff.
And talk to us. Please talk to us.
Yeah, we're like Millhouse throwing the frisbees back and forth. All right, guys. See you later.
Later.